You talked a little bit about the importance of the strong woman character as opposed to the ones running around wearing bikinis and so forth. So can you talk about the barriers and the stereotypes in the gaming community that you're trying to break down via this community?
Yes, definitely, because I think that, that's really what we are all about at the core. I think there's a lot of actual writing on this and a variety of different opinions, but why the video game space, as for consumers and also as an industry, why it evolved to be so heavily male, or at least to be perceived as so heavily male, is it has a couple of reasons. One of them, really, quite frankly, is that video games were put in the boys section in toy stores in the 80s. Yeah. It's like one of the main reasons. And I am a child of the 80s. And my brother got video games and I didn't. And that's just how it was. It's not that I didn't play. I did play with him some. But that, Mark, as a brand marketer and someone who grew up in advertising, it's pretty powerful. So if you just feel like they're for boys, they're for boys. Yeah. That's one thing. So then, the other thing, well, not the only other thing, but another element of the situation is video games historically had a reputation of being, somebody isolating in a basement, kind of degenerate. Did that ever happen? Yes. Was that ever what it was primarily? Probably not, really. It's hard to know for sure, but a lot of the power and value of video games is, again, something that we all need, certainly crave, but need as humans, which is play. So if you're playing a video game with a group of boys and you kind of fast forward that story to adulthood, then you're, on a team of primarily men in a primarily male, dominated field. It's not that anybody said, let's cut all the women out. It just, that is one way, one thing that evolved. So what are we trying to break down now? In this field that even as recently as a few years ago was perceived to be very heavily male, there always have been women and there have always been great women. When I first was chatting with my dad and my brother about their investment in Team Envy, and I heard all these statistics, and I thought it'd be great to dig a little deeper, we talked to quite literally thousands of women in a variety of different ways. Focus groups, surveys, on social media, on the phone, in person. We were able to go to 2. There's an event called PAX, which is similar to Comic-Con, which is a little bit more widely known outside of the industry, but PAX is a conference, an expo that is for people who love video games. And we went to 2 PAXs before we launched. So we did all of this really, on the ground research. And what we found overwhelmingly is that, yes, there's toxicity. Yes, there is, harassment. I mean, some of the things that are said, which are not generally what we lead with at the gameHERs, because it's just not, it is discussed a lot and we talk about it and we partner with initiatives in this space, but we don't usually, lead with the words toxicity and harassment, because most of these women want to talk about all the great stuff, how they met their best friends through video games, how they got their career through video games, how they had some serious mental health problems. And video games were a tool that they were able to use. And in fact, one of our strongest partners is, or one of our most long-term partners is the Center for Suicide Awareness. And one of their main tools that they use is gaming.